What's going on, everybody? It's still another episode of Alphacology Part 2. I had to refill my Cocosa because it was good. And I want to ask Mike this. As far as what he said in the first part of the episode, right? This part 2. He mentioned something about good and evil. You know, what do you mean by that? And I want to get into that.
So I guess this goes back to what I was saying earlier about the balance. So there's good and there's not good, and that's the balance of the ma'at. And the person who really showed that was, I think her name was Annie, because Annie was to me, she was the most spiritual person in the movie. Annie was spiritually dominant. She was the alpha OG of the spirituality. She gave Smoke and Stack those protection beads while they was away. She's the one that helped them figure out how to kill the vampires. So she was spiritually grounded. So I appreciate her being dominant and being able to make sure that the others knew what was going on. And so, what's your experience with what you think about that?
All right. So Annie, right? That's her name.
That's her name.
Smoke's girlfriend,
Yep.
the one that protected him, the spiritual alpha male. I mean, not the alpha male, the spiritual alpha. And I always say this, you got different types.
Yeah.
We could go on the basketball court and you know who the alpha male is by 2 minutes into the game. You go on the football field, there's a bunch of alpha males out there, but you're going to know who the warrior is, who the dog, we call them dogs. You're going to know who the dogs is by 30 seconds into the game.
Yeah.
Right? So, spiritually, it take a little bit longer to know who's the spiritual alpha or who has stronger spiritual energy than someone else. And she clearly, I say this, she clearly had stronger spiritual energy than everybody else in the movie, even that vampire, because she knew, but she had the bees, right? And the crystals. We're gonna take it from there. Yeah. I don't actually subscribe to the bees and the crystals, but why did those bees and crystals work? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where I want to get to everybody with a personal experience of mine, why those beads and those crystals work. I could go today, or you could go today and get some spiritual beads, some spiritual crystals, and they never work. Why? They don't never work. You ain't put in the work. You know this lady clearly put in the work. You know what I'm saying? People coming up to her all over to put in that work, right? Because they're not as strong spiritually as her. And it's only gonna do so much, because the only way them bees actually work is for people she actually love for real. That's how I seen it. Now, this is my personal experience.
Okay.
I had a young lady before cut off a piece of my hair,
Yeah.
like some Samson and Delilah.
I got you.
Cut off a piece of my hair, put it in a jar. I got your hair in a jar. You're gonna love me forever. And I'm spooked, because I didn't know she would like this.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm asking my mom, like I asked my mama, my dad. And they said to me, I told her, I said, man, this girl cut off my hair while I was asleep. She putting it in a jar. She praying over it. She putting it in some candles. She burning candles. Man, I don't know what's going to happen. Can y'all pray for me? And you know what my mom and dad said? We ain't got to pray for you. She ain't worked hard enough for you.
Okay.
We've been praying for you every night for the last 33 years. For her to even get a piece of your soul, she got to at least pray every night for you for the next
I got you.
40 some odd years.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You okay, you protected. That ain't gonna happen. It's too, God got his hand on your life.
Okay.
And she was saying stuff like, I was gonna lose money. I was gonna do that anyway, just because my character. But right.
Exactly, yeah.
But guess what? Right after that, my mom was like, you gonna be blessed. Whatever she said gonna happen to you in a couple weeks. And guess what? In a couple weeks, I was, man, great things happen to
Yeah,
you.
for sure.
You get what I'm
Mhm,
saying?
mhm.
That ain't gonna be your downfall.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And guess what though? I also had a partner, something happened to him like that, and he ended up in jail because he was going crazy about the girl. And come to find out, the girl did something similar where he went crazy
Mhm.
and he was like, that happened, that don't let that happen to you. It ain't gonna happen to you. I already knew. I beat him to the punch. I said, it ain't gonna happen to me because somebody already been protecting me spiritually since I was a little child.
So do you think that your homeboy's girlfriend, her stuff worked, and your girlfriend, your ex girlfriend didn't work?
Yeah, it didn't.
Okay, but you think his homegirls
Well, that's
it
what he
worked?
told me. He told me it worked, and he had to get somebody that was stronger than her. And I
Gotcha.
and I believe, and I honestly believe that like the best protection you're gonna have is something that you now the best protection you're gonna have is unless somebody been praying for you or whatever they want to do over your life to protect you from those entities. But the best thing you could ever do if you don't have that in your life, you gotta follow something. You gotta commit to something. I'm gonna just say something
Okay.
to
So,
protect
but
yourself.
he got somebody that was super. He got somebody that was more
Stronger than him,
stronger than him to pray and to talk it out to reverse it.
right.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So in the movie,
Mm-hmm.
she was the strongest because
Yeah.
when they tried to
There
get
you
him,
go.
they couldn't get him
Yeah.
because she had. We all thinking, oh, it's the crystal, and the girl gave him the crystal, but you ain't see. You don't really know how that worked. You think, oh, I'm gonna go buy me. What's your surface level thinking of that? I'm about to go buy me a crystal from the girl down the street. Girl down the street don't know you from a can of paint. She just trying to make some money.
So I see what you're saying, but
You get what I'm
I
saying?
think it can work both ways because if I do go buy some crystals from somebody, then it's on me to have purpose when I'm using it. It's on me to do what I got to do. Like
So would
but
you call that manifestation?
uh I think I would maybe call it manifestation, or I think it would be intentional, having intention with buying these beads. What's my intention on buying these beads and these crystals? Is this going to add to what I'm trying to do? Am I going to walk the walk after I get these beads? Am I going to talk the talk after I get these crystals? I can't just get it and hope something happens to me. I just can't hope and pray. I still have to do some work and help with the manifestation.
Hmm. So
So I think yeah, I think go both ways. Because if I yeah,
I don't think it go both ways. Well, you said it. I think we're saying the same thing in different ways. You gotta put that work in
there you
behind
go. Yeah, you got to put the work in.
behind spirituality. Ain't
Yeah,
no shortcuts.
yeah,
Ain't no shortcuts. I mean, in the movie, all we seen was the end result,
yeah.
the quality of the work that was put in. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
say value and quality are totally different.
Mm-hmm.
If you want something that's quality, you got to put in work. There ain't no shortcuts of that.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? If you want something of value, all I got to do is trick you into thinking it.
True.
Oh, hey, you see this chain? It's gonna protect you from vampires. All I gotta do is trick you
Yeah.
and convince you.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, you done brought my chain. But
Yeah.
it's like, my brother, I love you. I've been praying for you for a long time, and I don't want. I done seen some things, and I need you to wear this.
So
You see the difference?
yeah, here's the nuance. Here's the nuance. Okay, so just in general, and this is one thing that I mention a lot.
You can't buy
Um,
spirituality. I want to tell y'all that now. You can't buy it. You can't buy
spirit,
it.
spirituality. Listen to me. Spirituality and science are closer together
Then we
than
think.
no than religion and science. Spirituality and science are depending on how far you go down, they're like neck and neck. They're tied together.
So
And
do you think?
let me say this part real quick. Just for example, I got on this
Mhm.
copper chain, and technically by science, copper helps your immune system, and it has true healing benefits to it. And at the same time, um, back well not back when, forever, copper has been a common denominator in regards to African jewelry and things like that. So because of the healing energy in the copper, we wear it. But at the same time, spiritually, it's a thing also. Just like gold. Gold has like true healing properties. You know what I'm saying? Um, so a lot of times, some of the things that we do, some of the things that we do, like some of the beads and the herbs, like they have healing energies, and they also happen to be spiritual. And like the copper, just one example, because we wear copper, but at the same time, scientifically, copper has healing principles.
All right. So, do you think eh, this movie attacked the Christian religion?
So, so
Do
in
you,
general,
mhm.
religion is a very mature conversation. Everybody isn't even mature enough to have a conversation. What I think the movie did was, I think the movie gave nuance to how it spread, because again, Virginia Slim, he told Sammy, he said the blues wasn't forced upon us like the religion was. And like I said with Sammy, like I said with Remy said the same thing. Like long ago, the man who stole my father's land, these horses was forced upon us. So I'm not sure if it attacked it, but factually, okay. So outside of how you feel, outside of your feelings, factually, these things happen. Factually, it was forced upon them.
Mm-hmm.
Factually, it wasn't a choice. So however that makes you feel is your business. But what I did like is I do appreciate them having those other elements of spirituality, because everything is not, everything doesn't have a Christian foundation. So when Annie is introducing the beads and things of that nature, things that we did forever for years, I appreciated it.
Okay. So, and I still stand on what I said. You have to, for those spiritual beads and the good luck
Yeah,
it's some work that come
for
behind it.
sure. Just like
It
praying.
ain't no praying.
It's work behind prayer. You
I
just
don't.
can't pray and
You
think it's
can't
gonna
get to
happen.
me if you ain't prayed every night. If you ain't been in your craft or
Yeah,
doing whatever you did, you get what I'm saying. It's certain places I don't go.
for sure.
It's certain. Oh, let's go visit this temple. I'm not going in there. I don't know nothing from nothing. Now, once I get some knowledge and I know how to work around it, yes, because I look at it, spirituality like this, and I tell people it's kind of like um logging on to a wireless server, and what that wireless server say, it's not protected. So you jump on a wireless server long enough, somebody could hack into your information.
If your frequency
Still,
low, yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So it's the same thing. Yeah, if your frequency is low, but also I'm gonna humble myself. I don't think my frequency is the highest frequency or the lowest frequency,
I
but I'm
respect it.
still gonna be humble because I don't know what's on the other side of that network
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
I might not be ready for because I
Yeah,
ain't prepared. It's kind of like me trying to play NBA basketball. I'm not finna go up to an NBA player and say, "Yeah, I'm ready to take you." I can't because I ain't practiced. I ain't put in the work. I ain't sacrificed my time.
hmm,
You get what I'm saying? So even if you want to be stronger spiritually or whatever craft you got, you have to put in that work.
yeah,
You have to put in that time, and at some point you're gonna have to sacrifice. Just like anything else in life,
that's a
you're gonna
fact.
have to sacrifice. If I want to be the best coach ever or have a winningest team, something's gonna have to give. So I gotta sacrifice something. I no mean I gotta throw something in the fire and kill
Hmm.
people, but I might have to sacrifice what? Time with my family.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
My
Hmm.
family gonna suffer because I'm working on being the strongest, most dominant coach
Hmm.
or the strongest, most dominant player.
That's true.
You get what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with the spiritual energy of anything we do.
Yeah.
If you're trying to be protected spiritually or rise and be dominant spiritually, you're gonna have to sacrifice something.
Yeah.
Or you trying to be the best actor in Hollywood, you're gonna have to sacrifice something. And we
Hmm.
all heard the rumors of what you gotta sacrifice.
Yeah.
You gotta sacrifice your masculinity. You gotta sacrifice your manhood. That's what I
Yeah.
heard.
And I think,
Allegedly.
yeah, I don't
I
believe
don't
that.
know that.
I don't believe that. What you think about Virginia Slim?
So, is that one of your favorite characters in the movie?
No.
He's one of the most realistic characters in the movie, though.
Okay.
Because I see Virginia Slims all the time. I have Virginia Slims in my family. Somebody who's extremely talented and someone who has a curse. I would just call it a generational curse.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to escape some type of reality or that situation they're in.
Yeah.
And that's just something that Black people been doing for years.
Yeah.
Like alcoholism. It's like he one of the best of the best.
Best of the best.
But he drunk. He a drunkard.
Yeah.
He an alcoholic. So you don't really know how you don't really see his potential.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But guess what? Along the way, and I always say this, you can always learn something from a failure just as much you can learn from a winner.
Yeah. And then Virginia Slim, he sacrificed.
He said some real stuff.
And he sacrificed his life. Remember? At the end, he said, "Y'all take me out." At the end, he cut himself and said, "Y'all get me while the others try to escape." Yeah. And I think with Virginia, Virginia, I think he gave the most game because if you can remember when they was going to the place, he was telling Sammy about when the guys on the side of the road got locked up, was on the chain gang. If you remember, when you look at that story, he was saying that he knew all of them. When you listen to the story, it's crazy because he said
I remember that side.
Yeah, he said that they got locked up for vagrancy, and vagrancy is one of the most stupidest things you can get locked up for. So
what is it?
Vagrancy is like just hanging out, like not even kind of like loitering. And so back then, vagrancy was like if you was this goes to the Black codes. If you was someplace that quote unquote they didn't think you needed to be, if you didn't have a job, you can get locked up for vagrancy.
What they do now?
What you mean?
I'm gonna tell you what they do now. It's still here.
Yep. So check this out. You got a talented guy like Virginia Slim. They didn't have a job. They was always artists. They got locked up for vagrancy, and that was a part of the Black codes. That way, that's when they was trying to give you the slave labor. So they got locked up for literally nothing. When they was locked up, they gave them these instruments. They started playing. So the police said, "Let me take y'all on tour. I'm gonna get money and I'm gonna give y'all some." So again, I took you off the street. I'm gonna take you on tour. They're gonna give me $20. I'm gonna give you $1. That's slave labor. And then the few dollars that I give you, when you try to escape, when you try to leave, remember they say they killed him and cut his man parts off. So that was crazy to me because that just shows how that generational cycle works. You literally taking somebody off the street.
That would drive you to drinking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You took, and again, as talented as he was, they locked you up for vagrancy. And then
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
I gotta turn that off.
They lock you up. They lock you up for vagrancy. And again, that's one of the most stupidest things you can get locked up for. And then the police pimp you. We see that y'all talented. We're gonna take you around to these white folks. They're gonna pay me. I'm gonna give you pennies. Then when you get the pennies, you try to do your own thing. The guy said he tried to buy a ticket and they saw him pull out his money. And then the white folks, they killed him on the spot and cut off his man part. That was crazy. And that just shows, one, how erroneous the Black codes were back then and how they used them as slave labor. And the jealousy and the evil of white supremacy. Just because you see this man pulling out some money, they lied and said that he had stole it from a white man. Remember, he said they lied and said they stole it from a white man. They killed him at the train station and they cut off his parts.
Like I said.
And then just to go to the other layer, as far as the PTSD, the PTSD of it all. If you saw your homeboy
who was raw
get killed, and have any type of body part cut off, by definition, that's a traumatic event. So you will have PTSD just from that one event alone. And then you ask a nigga why he drinking.
Right.
What?
Shame on you for drinking. You ain't seen what I seen.
Again, that's what I'm saying. Like, what comes
Yeah.
first, the chicken or the egg? Like, we not just like this for no reason. A- All of
It's a
those
lot of trauma.
situations, a lot of trauma.
It's generational trauma, and I think one of the things that one of the worst things you can do
Mm-hmm.
is beg for a hug from the person that traumatized you, right? So that's one of the worst things you can do. Beg for a hug from the person that traumatized you.
Man, I got a
You
smart ass
can't.
comment for that. I'm gonna tell you one
it,
person.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
and as I digest all this information that I've been getting, and I paint my picture and I look on the board and I see the civil rights movement,
Mm-hmm.
all I could think is like, dang, y'all begging the white man for a hug.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all begging white supremacy for a hug.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've
Mhm.
been traumatized so
Mhm.
much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then you got dudes over here seeing that, man, I'm finna pour a drink too. Like, man, it ain't that, and I call that the black pill. It ain't the red pill no more, because the reality is, dang, this don't make no sense.
Yeah.
And then, what can I do about it? Nothing. So I'm finna give up. And I think he's one of those talented few that just gave up,
Yeah.
and they didn't understand. And that's why they didn't understand how to get to the next level. And that's when I feel like you got to tie in spirituality, not religion. You got to connect to a higher power. And I'm gonna ask you this, right?
Mm-hmm.
At what age you realized that we weren't free, and how you got free? At what age did you realize that we were not free, and how did you get free?
What age did I realize that we were not free? I don't know, man. I think so. Let me see here. I don't know. I think unfortunately, growing up within this experience, once you have once you're conscious of life, then I think that's when it kicks in. Like, it wasn't when I was in elementary school. I don't think. I think once you within the states, I think once you learn about race and the difference, I don't think it really stops. Like, once you understand race, I think that's where it begins. So whenever that comes in at. But the other part of your question was, for me personally, what's the second part of that question?
How did you get free? Do you consider yourself free? I want to say that.
Yeah.
And if you consider yourself free, how did you get there?
I understand that I live in a nation that's ruled by white supremacy. But spiritually, I think I got free maybe about 8 years ago.
So you're saying to my people, my supporters, that spirituality sets you free, not religion.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
I'm 100% spiritual, and I'm such a better human being for it.
Okay.
However, I respect all religions. If it's making you a better human being, hey, go for it.
All
Do
right.
you? If it's making you a better human being, I'm all for it. My path is just different.
So you got to work for that freedom. Did you not? You had to work.
Yeah,
for
for
it.
sure.
All right. I just
For
proved my
sure.
point.
And you know what? You know what that work was? Reading.
Reading. That's where it starts. Half of us don't know how to read.
Yep, reading and not being scared to read, and not being afraid to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's a lot. That those uncomfortable conversations,
Mm-hmm.
and I learned in college, and I posted this on my Facebook. And a buddy of mine, and I love him dear to my heart. I ain't gonna say his name because I want to bring him on the show so he can tell his story. And I'm gonna ask him that same question. And I said, when did you didn't realize you were free? He was like, NFL training camp. That's what he said. He said, when I went to the NFL, I realized I wasn't free. I was just a highly paid slave. I couldn't do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I couldn't look how I wanted to look.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, we got to talk about that one day. But that's how I see celebrities. That's how I see these professional NBA players that all these kids want to look up to.
Mm-hmm.
All these rappers that all my young black men want to look up to. And I could help but see what my grandfather used to say. Learn how to do something nobody else can do. That's how you set yourself free.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of hard work to learn how to do that.
Yeah. And when you were saying that, I was thinking about going back to the movie. At the very end of the movie, that's when Stack said that's the last time he felt free. That day. And I think both of them said that. I think Sammy said that was the best day of his life. Matter of fact, that's my other favorite scene because that scene right there just.
What he said, last time I seen my brother something.
Yeah.
What he said?
Yep, the last time I seen the light, he said that was the best day of my life. I felt freedom, and the last time he seen his brother. Yeah. That was
for that very moment we felt free.
Scenes, actually.
Yeah, and I felt that. I'm like, dang.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, let me go ahead and dry my eye.
I was crying too.
Oh man, these allergies.
Yeah.
Right.
Mine was, I was crying, bro.
So I'm finna ask you this. When the last time you felt free?
Man, I'm good, man. I just understand that, you know, in this society that we live in, this is what we got to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm just so grateful. I think I marinate in gratefulness so much that that gives me a sense of freedom. But at the same time, I understand my surroundings. Matter of fact, I'm reading this book, not the Color of Law. I think it's called The Color of Law. And that's the first time that I read a book and it made me angry to put it down. And I done read a lot. I done read a lot about, you know, race, ethnicity, racism, white supremacy. That's in history. That's all I read. But this was the first time that I read a book and it made me so upset I had to put it down. Because The Color of Law, they were talking about, you know, the redlining, and it talks about the real estate and talks about the home ownership through the Black experience. And when you see the complexities, and when you see how intentional the evil white people were to block land ownership and home ownership from Black people, and the different levels and the different layers and the extremes that they went through, the preachers, the government, like the literally the government, they weren't even they would stop giving loans to certain contractors if they were areas that they were going to build for Black people. Not to get sidetracked, but that was the first time that I really been angry enough to put a book down.
And I say this. Every way, and I think it's easier now than ever before because we have these cell phones.
Yeah.
Every way you find, they're trying to block every way you can set yourself free. They're blocking every way. They do it through the cell phone because this is spiritual blockage, right? They do it through the music.
Yeah.
They promote only a certain type of music that doesn't resonate with your soul, right? They do it of course, they do it through the education. And I don't know if I'm going to get they do it through social media now.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like we still got to go back to our roots. You gotta dig. You gotta dig. You gotta open up a book.
That might be a little hypocritical, but go ahead.
What you mean?
You said go back to your roots. How far you want to go back?
You gotta go. You
because you want to stop. I want to go to the roots. You don't want to go to the root. You want to go to the branch.
You gotta go back to you.
Based on the conversation that we've had, you know how a tree is. The tree has the surface and the tree has the roots. A lot of people don't want to go to the roots. That's what we're talking about.
But
I would love us to go to the roots. Y'all want to stay at the top. But go ahead.
So you gotta go to the roots because the roots can't be manipulated.
Do you want to go to the roots?
The branches could be manipulated.
Let's bookmark this one. You could show off.
So look, the branches.
Remember what you said? You said you want to go to the roots.
No, I say we gotta go to the roots.
Okay, I'm at the roots. I'm at the roots, my boy.
That's fine.
I want you to get to the roots.
That's fine.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So the thing is, it's always the main thing gonna be the main thing.
Yeah.
I know my people ain't free.
For sure.
And a lot of people, and I'm not trying to bring other races in because I'm worried about my people.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people not free.
Yeah.
And the ones who know it, and the ones who know that we're not free, they are very much so marginalized, and the ones that's actually trying to get free through ownership and business, it's always going to be that little glass ceiling.
Yeah.
And we're not going to even tap on the groups that's stopping them
Yeah.
because they like to uphold what I call the race, color, white supremacy, and that's just the surface level.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to just blame white man on everything, but it go deeper than that.
Yeah.
Because it's spiritual warfare.
Yeah.
It's spiritual warfare when you pick up this phone. When I want to scroll and go through a rabbit hole, and I see twerking.
Yeah.
And now I got to fight with my flesh.
Yeah. That's true.
And got to stay focused.
Yeah.
So I want to get to the roots, but sometimes I get distracted.
That's true. I was gonna
You
say.
get what I'm saying?
I was gonna say. What was I gonna say?
Cause that thing be jiggling.
For one, I was
No?
gonna say the positive side of these phones is, man, I had something I was gonna say. Damn, you made me forget.
The positive side of the phones are what?
Let me see here.
They
Something
open
before
you
that.
to a wealth of
No.
knowledge.
But I was gonna say something before that. But let me say this though. This is what I think. Well, this is what I know. It's something called, I call it the Christopher Columbus effect. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of the positive things about the phones. That is one of the positive things about the information technology. It is one of the positive things about the internet. I call it the Christopher Columbus effect, okay? And what I mean by that is when you think of Christopher Columbus today versus when you think of Christopher Columbus 50 years ago, we look at them different.
Mm-hmm.
We look at Columbus Day today different than our parents.
It's not Columbus Day anymore. It's Indigenous People Day.
Yeah, but my point is this though. My point is this: the origins and the meanings and how we believe in Columbus Day is different, and it's different because of information. People being unapologetic in regards to spreading the truth. People being able to access this information. People being able to read the truth about Columbus. Because if anybody has read Columbus' diary, he was one of the worst of the worst. I'm talking about rapist, pedophile. Like he was a horrible person. But my point is, people look at Columbus Day different today than they did 30 years ago, than they did 60 years ago. So all of the things that we're talking about is going to have the same Christopher Columbus effect. The way that we look at spirituality, the way we look at religion, the way we look at a lot of these topics. And I see it on a daily basis, being that the information is able to be spread more quickly and more efficiently, and more people are unapologetic in regards to sharing information. A lot of the things that we look at and we believe in today will not be the same, and I guarantee it won't be the same in 50, 100 years, only because, just like Christopher Columbus, once you see the truth, you're either going to believe it or not. Because at the same time, to this day, if you go to New York right now, there will still be some people that say Christopher Columbus discovered America, right? There will still be people today that will say Christopher Columbus discovered America.
Not a lot of people.
But there's still some, only because they've been conditioned so hard and so long and they don't want to believe the truth, even though the truth is out there. So the same thing. So all of these topics that we talked about today, I guarantee you will have the Christopher Columbus effect, because once you see the truth, once you go to the roots, whether you want to believe it or not, the truth is the truth. So a lot of these things that we talked about are gonna have the same old Christopher Columbus effect, because it's out there, and people are asking questions.
Dang. I just look at it like, I don't want to say me, but I like to open people's eyes. One thing about once your eyes are open, you can't close them back.
That's a fact.
You can't close them back. And what I noticed, what my father used to tell me, if they keep pushing it in your face, they're trying to hide something. They already manufactured it, just like the Christopher Columbus effect. This man was an evil man, but y'all wanted us to take school off and celebrate. A hero.
And we've been conditioned to believe
all
that
because he made Spain some money and he was a hero. But come on. And he was the one who discovered America that was already in America.
Yeah. And
you keep digging, you will see, black people was already here. People done went over here all the time. So it's kind of like you do your research, and it's called history for a reason.
Yeah.
It's his story. He won the last fight, so he get to rewrite what he want to rewrite. And you got places like the Vatican that got hidden books, ancient books that they're never gonna release. you're gonna have to go through a lot of people to get them books, right? And you got a lot of stuff that they block off from setting you. I think the only way we'll get set free is through knowledge and spirituality.
That's a fact.
So when they blocking off knowledge, esoteric knowledge at that, spiritual knowledge, and they're trying to dilute your pineal gland. I said it right. They're trying to dilute it with chemicals. And this phone right here,
Yeah. Yeah.
guess what? You got to work extra hard. You got to put in that work. It ain't going to be given to you. Nothing in life worth having is easy, even freedom. So that's how I look at it. That's the underlying of alphacology. The lion with his chain in his mouth, you got to bite that chain and break it.
That's a fact.
So that's how I look at it. That's where I'm coming from. And if you got anything else to say,
man, I think what you said is all key, and that goes back, going back to the movie Sinners. That's why we like Ryan Coogler. That's why we like the actors, because again, he was able to make a amazing story and make it black based, black cast, and tie in all black things. And I mean, he went back to the earliest, origins of our existence, and put all of that in his story. He tied in all generations, all ethnicities, all the spirituality foundations, and put it in this one movie. So
right,
yeah, he did. He put the medicine in the candy.
Like I always say, it's alphacology. I appreciate you for coming on, my brother.
I appreciate you, my guy.
Like I always say, man, this is not tea, it's protein. Peace out.